Every day, billions of people wake up and ask themselves the same question. What should I share today? But there's a growing group quietly asking a very different question. Why should I share anything at all? They're not hiding because they're timid or out of touch. They're doing something most of us never dare. And what if I told you these invisible observers might be among the most psychologically resilient people you know? Today, we uncover the hidden psychology of the people who don't post. Let's find out why their silence might just be their greatest power.
By the end of this video, you'll understand why non-posting isn't about being shy or antisocial, but about control. How social media hijacks your brain with dopamine, the rare psychological strengths of those who step back, and the overlooked price we all pay when we lose our privacy. Whether you're burnt out or just curious, this may change everything you think about silence online.
We'll explore the secret traits of ghost scrollers. We'll reveal what's going on in your mind every time you post. We'll learn why sharing can rob you of your own experiences. And finally, we'll ask the uncomfortable question. What if silence is full, not empty? Let's dive in.
The anatomy of invisibility. Think of this. The average person spends nearly 2.5 hours a day on social media. But studies show up to 80% of users never or rarely post. They're called lurkers. And if you think they're just shy, think again. Psychologists find non-posters tend to have greater self-restraint, deep introspection, and what's called emotional independence. These aren't social weaknesses. They're often psychological strengths. The key difference? Regular posters are driven by feedback, by knowing how others see them. But these quiet users, they define themselves from the inside out. If you ask them, "Who are you?" they already know, long before they ever turn to the internet. This isn't just preference. It's a fundamentally different way of being, and it changes everything about life online.
The neuroscience of the sheer.
But why is the urge to post so strong for everyone else? Every swipe, like, or notification triggers a hit of dopamine, a chemical not of pleasure, but of anticipation. Dopamine spikes while you wait for the likes, not when you get them. That's why checking your phone can feel so compulsive. This loop actually rewires your brain. Pretty soon, you're not experiencing sunsets, you're composing captions. You're not making memories, you're editing your life for an audience, even in the moment. But here's the radical move. People with an internal sense of self-worth, what psychologists call an internal locus of control, step off this hamster wheel. They choose to resist the cycle of anticipation and reward, and their brains adapt. Studies show they're less emotionally volatile, more resilient, and paradoxically, better at real-world connection because they perform less and present more.
The sacred theft, psychological ownership. Now imagine you have a moment so meaningful, you want to keep it close. Psychologists call the sense that something is deeply yours psychological ownership. It's not about legal claims, it's about emotional connection to an experience. But when you post, that changes. Suddenly, what was privately yours becomes public property, up for comments, for judgment, for misunderstanding.
Research shows that sharing actually reduces your feeling of ownership. The moment becomes everyone's. The sacred gets diluted by clicks. Some people sense this instinctively. They're not anti-technology or anti-social. They're guardians of the deep. They know not every experience is meant for an audience. Think about the things that shaped you most. Do they happen in front of a camera or in quiet solitude, unshared and unfiltered? Most transformations happen off-stage. The non-posters? They make space for those moments time and time again. The detox effect. What changes when you stop posting? But what really happens when people take a break or stop posting completely? First comes the anxiety, the urge to reach for your phone, the feeling you're missing something. But then something happens. Colors seem brighter, time stretches out. You notice your brain slows down and you stop narrating everything. Studies show your amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for anxious reactions, starts to calm.
You begin to think more clearly. You even become more creative because you aren't constantly distracted. Most people never get this far. The withdrawals pull them back in, but those who stay in this new stillness find genuine peace. They become less visible, but much more present, less validated, but more authentic, fewer connections, but deeper ones. The research is clear. Happiness, emotional stability, and even offline social skills all climb when you let go of performing for the crowd.
The isolation paradox. Connection in a disconnected world. But here's the paradox. We are more connected than ever, and more isolated too. Why? First, the algorithm rewards controversy and envy, not connection. Your feed shows you the highlights of people you'll never meet, and their victories become your silent torment. Second, we learned to perform. Authenticity gave way to endless curation and editing. We don't connect, we project.
Third, we let algorithms manage our connections. Real intimacy requires attention and vulnerability, and there's just no app for that. So the people who step back, they build fewer but stronger relationships because they make time for people, not performances. Psychologists call this true solitude. It's not loneliness. It's being alone, at peace, complete.
The performance of self. Authenticity in the age of curation. Psychologists talk about something called congruence, the alignment between your real self and the self you show the world. On social media, almost no one is truly congruent. Everyone knows they're presenting a mask, and everyone else's mask is obvious too. The quiet ones? They walk away from this impossible performance. It's not that they have nothing to say. It's that the medium rewards artifice, not truth. You can't truly be authentic where everything must be edited, staged, and screenshotted for judgment. But when you stop posting, your sense of self stabilizes. You no longer need permission or an audience. These people aren't less authentic. They're simply not performing. And perhaps in stepping back, they preserve the rarest thing, the ability to live truthfully, even if nobody sees it. The fear beneath. Why we share. Here's a hard truth. Most of us don't post because we have something important to say. We do it because we're afraid. Afraid of being left out, forgotten, irrelevant. Evolution made us need to belong. Alone meant danger. Social media weaponizes that fear. FOMO. If we're not visible, we worry we'll disappear. But that urgency is a trick. It was designed to keep us coming back. The quiet ones. They've learned to see through that illusion. At first, they too feel anxious. Will people remember me? But they learn. True connections, the ones that matter, survive without reminders. It may feel like loss, but it's actually a reclaiming of self. The hidden power. What the quiet ones know. Now, here's what most people miss about the silent types. They see everything. While others are perfecting performance, the quiet ones are observing. They absorb details, develop depth, and gain wisdom the rest of us miss. Time not spent curating an image becomes time for true insight. Perhaps they seem mysterious, even cold, but look again. Their silence isn't emptiness. It's the calm of not needing to be seen to exist. And as the social world burns itself out with noise, the silent revolution is just beginning. We live in the noisiest age in history, but maybe the greatest strength is choosing silence. And in it, finally finding out who you really are. Not everything you experience needs a witness. Some moments are powerful because they're yours alone. That's not emptiness. That's where you become real. If you feel the exhaustion of constant performance, try this challenge. For the next 24 hours, live a moment. No photos, no captions, no sharing. Experience it just for you. And if you want to explore more about reclaiming your presence in a chaotic world, subscribe and join this quiet movement. The revolution doesn't make noise. It simply begins.